All right. Well, that was great. I loved all three of those songs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have obviously a lot to talk about, but before we get into any of that, let's follow this up with yet another song that you sent me, which is "I'm Too Broke to Buy a New Bass Amp." Do you have anything you want to say about this song as a little intro before we play it?
Yeah, this song, it's a true story. We can talk about it after the song. It's a true story about getting our gear stolen.
Let's just talk about it now.
Okay.
So we used to play in Kim's project called Two Bad Bricks, and one day after practice, we went to the park to have a poutine with our friend Anna, and when we came back, her car had been broken into, and all of the band's gear had been stolen.
Yeah, and it was I was pretty shocked, and the next day it was like a whole adventure of me just tracking my iPad that had been stolen from my backpack, and Dro basically hopping on his bike and on the metro and tracking this iPad and eventually finding the person that stole their stuff.
Yeah, I camped outside their supposed apartment for 4 hours, and then I followed them to a park, and then I found them and King called the cops, and we got the iPad back, but not the bass or
Not
the guitars.
Yeah. So we wrote the song.
Yeah.
All right, well, that certainly sounds like a wild story. Yeah, well, then let's hear this song about that. All right, you just heard "I'm Too Broke to Buy a New Bass Amp" by Kim and Dro. So before that song played, we heard a bit about the story behind that. Is there anything else that you want to add before we start talking about everything else today?
Yeah. So yeah, like Dro was saying, we got our stuff stolen last summer after band practice, and it was I guess a kind of a bonding moment for both of us, because then, yeah, we had been friends for like a year, but then we like got together and, hunted this thief down, because he had stolen our guitars, and we decided to write a song about it a few months after. It was one of the first songs that we wrote together, and it was like a true story, so it felt pretty special. And that's part of the reason why we decided to release that one as our first single of this project.
All
True.
right. All right. Well, I also want to mention here there's quite a few fans of yours in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so Emmanuel says, "Yas, go Kim and Dro." Antonio says, "Sonzera." I don't know if that's a reference to something.
That's a Portuguese word. It
Okay.
means cool sounds.
Great,
Thanks,
great.
Antonio.
Okay, well, Sonzera. Amanda says, "Woohoo," and "I'm also too broke to buy a new bass amp."
There you
from
go.
Amanda.
We feel you, Amanda.
All right. Well, with that said, the first thing I want to talk about is let's go over a bit more with those few songs we heard in the beginning that you played live. If you have kind of similar stories or background behind them. And then after that, I'd love to move into talking more about generally how you work together as a band, how you got started. I'd love to hear more about the Turbo House open mic night where you guys met. But let's start off with maybe just going in order, a few more words about each of those songs.
Cool. Now I'll start with Haircut. So Haircut is based on like 3 different women. One of them is my girlfriend. I probably tell her like at least once a day that I love her hair. And another one would be, I wrote the song around the time I was reading Kathleen Hanna's autobiography. Kathleen Hanna is a singer of a band called Bikini Kill, and she's really cool, like has a really cool punk rock attitude, and was one of the, I guess, pioneers of like the feminist movement in the 90s, with rock music. And yeah, like she just really inspired me. There's different lines in there that are based on her, like the part where she was like really in love with her print machine when she was at uni. The way she describes it is really hilarious. So yeah, I threw her in there. And also...
Who lent you that book, Kim?
You did.
Okay.
It's one of Joe's favorite books. It's one of my favorite books, too. It's like so funny. And I think around the time I wrote it, probably the day I wrote it or the day after, day before, Joe's wife, Amanda, came into the studio that we write in, and she had just gotten a really short black bob. And Dro was like really lovey-dovey with her, and it was nice to see. And I was like, yeah, short hair, it's great. Yeah, that's the story of Haircut. Do you want to?
All right. What?
Yeah.
So we heard Haircut. Then that was the first one we heard?
That's the first one we heard.
Okay, and then what about the other two?
Second one was called Hide and Seek. It's based on experience I have working for the very, very, very affluent people in Montreal and their little secret clubs, and just based on things that I overhear during, either at their parties or when they're just, hanging, socializing. And I don't know, I heard a story once of them having dinners where the waitresses are dressed in sushi bikinis, and the guys just eat from their bikinis. I thought it was a really interesting image to throw in the song.
I'm curious, where are you working where you're encountering these people?
I can't say, but it's a secret club for rich men.
Wow, all right.
You can imagine the type of man.
Yeah.
To this club.
All right, well, I'm sure that must inspire a lot of songwriting material.
Yeah, you just have to hold it all in when you're there, and then once I'm out, it all comes out in the form of song.
All right. Now the very last song, that was a nice, slow, quiet one, as you said. It felt very peaceful. What was that about?
So Technicolor Dream, that's actually my favorite song on this album. What's it about?
Well, Kim had just come back from a trip to New England where she visited Salem, and we were talking about the witch trials, and it was about this time of year, so very like fall, Halloween vibes, and we went for a walk in the park and saw like an abandoned house.
Yeah.
And graves, and we just kind of got inspired by this image of like someone who had passed away and their spirit kind of still lingers, and you remember that person for their record collection or how they were when they were with you.
It was kind of a vibes. It was kind of like there was no specific. I think there was no specific theme at the time that we wrote it. It was more like it was October, and we kind of wrote down some references that we saw during this walk and during my trip, and it was like it was just like we wrote it in a day, and it's kind of about that, somebody passing away, and it's like kind of gloomy outside. But I feel like the vibe of the song really gets to me. It's like my favorite song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this is a perfect time of year to be playing that then.
Yeah.
And I definitely see what you mean, kind of those vibes coming across in the melodies. Okay, well, thank you for telling us all about this music. Now to go back further, how did this project get started? You mentioned that you started playing together after you met at an open mic night at Turbo House. That certainly sounds like a great story. I'd love to hear about kind of, if you were both seeing each other play, kind of how you decided to start this band, what your first rehearsals and writing sessions looked like.
Yeah, we met at Turbo House in 2023, this time of year as well, 2 years ago. So I was playing, I was like playing on the stage, and I asked the crowd who was a fan of Emily Dickinson's, because one of the songs from my previous project is literally just one of her poems, and I sing over it. And Dro was the only person to lift his hand up. And then he came up to me after I did my set, and we saw each other. We didn't start hanging out right there and then, but we saw each other maybe like 5-6 months after at another open mic, and from there on we started like jamming and hanging out.
May I add that her performance at Turbo was the most badass performance I had ever seen.
What happened in this performance?
It was just low tuning, like low string guitars. I think she tunes the guitar in C, super low, super deep, and her voice is awesome, and the songs are dark and kind of grungy but kind of poppy at the same time. It's exactly the kind of thing I like.
Yeah, and then we followed each other on social media.
Yeah.
And then I really fell in love with her song On a Whim, And I was like, oh, this guy's he's like really good, and I love his music, and I want to see him again. So you were hosting an open mic at Tuyo, and I came to that pretty much just to be your friend.
Yeah.
And
that's
play music
awesome.
with you, yeah. I guess we can talk about how we started writing songs. And
Yeah, not long after that, we got together and wrote Technicolor Dream. And I think the very first time we got together was at our friend Niki's apartment. She was on vacation, and I was house sitting for her, and Kim came over, and we just started playing our guitars and hit record, and just this song comes out of nowhere.
like a great song.
Yeah. But like improvised, and we both
Yeah.
realized that there's this untapped energy that we need to explore. And then we started meeting regularly, and each time we would sit down, we would finish a song right on the spot, like super quickly.
Yeah. And before that, so drums. Dro is a really good drummer. He's a good drummer, bassist, guitarist. He's just a really good multi-instrumentalist. And he was playing drums in another project that I had. And I saw, like, working with him and our friend Anna, how easy it was to be a bandmate with Dro. Because that's not always the case when you're trying to look for bandmates. And
True.
yeah, we just had really good chemistry. And then when we started like writing songs together, it was just like he said, we would sit down, write a song, sit down, write another song, and it was like really good. We were happy every time. So
Yeah, the workflow was immaculate.
yeah,
All right. Well, that's great that you just met each other like that and were then able to work together so well. I think so many people wish that could happen, and it sounds like you've really have been able to make this work out, that's great. Now I also really liked hearing about, your performance that you did at the open mic night. Is that similar to what your performances are looking like now? Or what is the style that you're playing in when you're doing a live set as your band?
so that open mic, so I really like to play with low tunings, so like spaghetti string kind of tunings, and I think that would get attention because it's not really common to play like that, because it's really how do you say, what's the word, if
There's a big contrast, I would
Yeah.
say. The strings go low and the vocals go high, and it's just a very wide range that you're listening to.
yeah, and it could be kind of a pain in the ass to like tune your guitar that low. So when I was playing acoustic, it was like that, but I really always wanted to have like a full band, and that's what we have now. Most of the time we play like full band shows. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say there's always a little bit of Two Bad Bricks in whatever Kim writes, because it's coming from her. But from this project, we started writing a lot more pop songs.
Mm-hmm.
And Kim had never thought she would be writing pop songs. Is that right, Kim?
Yeah, no, I
Like
didn't.
that. But it's how things turned out.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of like your 90s rock grunge influence too, and everything that you write. So
For sure.
it's a cool two different, sort of similar but different worlds coming together.
Yeah.
It makes Kim and Dro.
All right. Well, you mentioned, that you have now started playing more pop songs, and you've kind of had this change, in terms of how you're writing and playing your music. That sort of ties into something I already wanted to ask you, which is, in terms of genre, how would you categorize what you're doing, and also how would you describe how your genre has shifted, and if there's anything, specifically influential that has influenced you to shift in that way?
I would say we play mostly for this album. It's kind of like a grunge pop vibe that we're going for, but there's a mix of genres. Like there's some pop punk in there. Technicolor Dream obviously stands out for being an acoustic, haunting track. There's different influences. The first track on the album, Come On Over, is a little bit more jazzy. There's like bossa nova chords in there, but it's also kind of indie rock. We just really like to mix all the stuff that we like.
Some folk influences in
Yeah,
there
some
too.
folk on Borrowed. But I think that for the next album, the trend is to go a little bit more shoegaze. So yeah.
And in terms of influences, like we've got pretty different influences. I would say, like I was really influenced by, like, in terms of singing style, people like Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, Paramore, Hayley Williams. Not in my singing style, but in terms of like songwriting and genre. One of my favorite bands ever is Queens of the Stone Age. So like that kind of weird, grungy, dark, stoner rock music is what I'm really into.
Yeah, for me, it's the Pixies, it's the Mars Volta, it's Fugazi, Elliott Smith, Bjork. You don't necessarily hear it in our music, but it's the stuff that I like the most, and some Brazilian artists too.
All right. Well, speaking of influences, I'd also like to talk a bit more about your local influences and connections in the music scene. I know you reached out to me because somebody else, I think, had recommended you to talk
Blood
to
Farts.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bloodies.
I love Blood Farts.
Me too.
And they're such great people. Obviously, you have that connection. Maybe you could talk a bit about, your connection with them, but I'd also like to hear about kind of your position within the music scene more broadly in terms of who else do you like to work with, do you like to play with, what types of spaces and venues are you playing at, and kind of how do you fit into this ecosystem that's, been going on here? Sure.
A lot of the friends that we've made and the people that we know, the connections that we know, is from Turbo House Open Mic. It's a really great place to make friends. I believe you made like most of your friends since moving to Montreal from Turbo House, and me. Most of my friends, like in the music scene, are people that I saw at this specific open mic. People we like to play, just people in the same sort of genre as us, who play rock music, and who are active in the scene and who want to play shows.
Yeah. Shout out Leah Keeley, by the way. The host of Turbo House Open Mic. She was the one. Actually, I went to a Café Tuyo open mic first, and then she invited me to the one at Parc Jean Mons, which happens during the summer. And then from there, I started going to Turbo. So like, there's this community of friends that go to a bunch of open mics together, and we just love people like Dirty Eddie, Trust the Band. Sunwell,
Mean Merle.
We're gonna play a show with him next week.
There's so many artists in Montreal.
And then beyond Montreal too, we started making friends from other cities in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we will come back to your upcoming shows, but I also want to talk about not just kind of your influences right now, but your history and background with music in general. Obviously, you met each other at this open mic night, and it sounds like you've been, involved in this open mic scene a lot. But both of you, it sounds like, have played music for a while and are quite good at your instruments. How did you guys get into playing music in the first place? Do you play any other instruments? Have you been in other bands? How did this come to be?
I started playing guitar when I was like 9, because my mom taught me how to play, and it was really fun. And then I started playing in bands in high school. I had a really active band in high school where we would play across, I'm from Northern Ontario. We would play across Ontario, and it was like we would have our shows paid by school boards. We would play in a lot of schools, and that was really fun. And then after that, I started a project called Two Bad Bricks with another collaborator. But that was like a long project that for many years we didn't release anything. And then I released my first album with Two Bad Bricks in 2023. Before meeting Dro, there was a long time, I would say like a period of 5-6 years where I stopped playing music completely, and then getting back into playing live was kind of a struggle because I had really terrible stage fright. And that's why I was actually going to a lot of open mics. It was to kind of get over that. And yeah, I played a few shows with that project, Two Bad Bricks, and then started playing with Dro last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I also started because of my mom, in a way. Yeah.
Go mom.
She used to play bossa nova guitar since she was a kid. She was really good at it, and then she tried to teach me, but I didn't have the patience. But then when I was 13, or when I was 11, I think, I joined a band as a singer. And because there was no bass in the band, I asked my dad to put me on bass lessons, and I did 1 year, then I quit, but my dad got me a bass, and I started learning by myself just by playing along to videos on MTV. And I've been forming bands since I was 15, and then actually when I was 15 I started my first band that was actually like playing shows and touring and like recording albums. And then that band got to grow and be quite popular in Brazil, and we did a bunch of tours in Brazil and in the States. And I just had this idea of moving to North America to have touring be more accessible, more easy to do. And then I decided to move here with my partner Amanda in 2019, and I did my own solo project too between 2018 and 2023, and that's when I met Kim. And then all my bandmates decided to quit the band because they have other bands, but then Kim stepped in, and it's been a good vibe ever since.
All right, so you're originally from Brazil?
I am.
All right, nice. Do you still go back there, or are you mainly based in Montreal?
Yeah, I'm going back in December.
Okay, very exciting. All right. Well, thank you for both giving that whole story. I now want to kind of move into talking more again about the Montreal scene, specifically what it's been like for you as a queer musician here in terms of, fitting into the music scene, in terms of kind of how that influences what shows you're playing, as well as, what you're writing about and how you're producing and making your music.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've had nothing but lovely experiences as a queer musician in Montreal. I mentioned earlier that there was a period of like many years where I stopped playing music. For various reasons, but like there was like a 10, 12 year gap where I didn't really interact with the scene at all. I wasn't going to shows, I wasn't playing in bands, and I saw like a big difference in how many women, first of all, play today in bands and rock bands, and how many openly queer people play. Because, like for example, when I was in high school, oftentimes I'd be the only girl on the bill where we would play, and I was closeted, so I mean, I wasn't out, but there weren't many queer artists that were out in the kind of scenes in the circles that I was in, music circles. It was all very masculine, and like not that great. And today in Montreal, I think it also has to do with like how queer friendly of a city Montreal is, and there's always there's a bunch of bands with a bunch of queer artists, and there's never any issues, that I know of for myself, but like in places like Turbo or in music that we play. We really like to play bills with other, like we always try to have at least women
and queer people on the bill with us. Yes, it's
like a big mission of ours is to all do this together and to have to grow this community to be stronger and safer and more inclusive for girls and queer people.
Yeah, and we also want to show support by playing benefit shows. We're trying to book a benefit show for January, but the idea is to play just a bunch more and dedicate them to causes that we believe in. One of them being the LGBTQ cause, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And for queer people to feel like this is something that they can do, and that it's, they will have friends, and that it's a good place to hang out. And we just want people to express their art, and by doing that ourselves, we think we want to grow a community.
Inclusion is punk.
Exactly.
For sure, for sure. I mean, that's really great to hear that you've, seen kind of these positive changes in the scene and you've kind of been able to influence that yourselves. When it comes to, the queer community in the scene, obviously you just said, you want to grow this community. What other places do you see this kind of being a center of community? You've already mentioned Turbo House, but what are some other places, whether those are like, physical spaces like other venues or more, less physically centered communities where you've been able to find other queer musicians and find a space where you can be yourselves and play your music?
Honestly, the co-op BMP on Park Avenue
that place is
an
great.
oasis. It's so great.
I'm so happy a bar like that exists.
Me too.
Because like for a long time, it was kind of hard to find that kind of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've never been, the co-op, it's called Co-op BMP.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
on Pine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we went to a karaoke there. It's just the best time.
Yeah, and that's where we're trying to book our benefit show for January.
Okay, nice, nice.
And outside of the music scene, I mean, just people we hang out with, like it doesn't always have to be around like playing music, but yeah, just be surrounded with queer people in general and have connections that way.
Yeah. Shout out to all of our queer friends.
Yeah.
We love you.
Another commenter, Anna, says, Montreal gay capital of the world.
Yes,
Thank God.
On the campus.
And, they also say, come to Brazil.
Yeah.
In all caps.
We're trying to do that. We are.
Okay, well, that's kind of a perfect transition into what I wanted to talk to you about next, which is, of course, all of your upcoming projects, whether that would end up being a tour or shows played anywhere else. But first, I know you've mentioned unreleased music and music coming out soon. I think maybe we should mention that, especially I know, I think you said at least one of the songs you played live earlier is not officially released yet. So let's let everybody know when you have new music coming out and what your next upcoming shows are going to be.
So our next upcoming show is actually the same day of our album release show, or of our album release, which is on November 8th, Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be at La Maison, DM for address. It's low capacity venue, like only 60 people, and the tickets are going fast. We expect it to be sold out for sure. And we're also running a Kickstarter campaign to help us pay for the album. It ends in 2 days, so you can still donate until the 5th, and we're actually doing really great.
Yeah, we managed to like hit our goal in 2 days, our first goal, and we're
the second most popular Kickstarter campaign
project on
in
Kickstarter.
Canada.
Yeah.
Wow, really? In the whole country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It was
amazing.
really lovely to see how many people were like supporting us. Doing crowdfunding campaigns, because I don't know how much people know about being an indie musician, but like you pay for everything yourself. Like you pay for mixes, mastering, all of
Pressing shirts,
Yeah.
CDs.
and the fees like rack up really fast. So to be able to be crowdfunded by the community that you're in, by friends and family and sometimes strangers, is just an absolute blessing. So
Yeah, thank you.
a really big thank you to everybody who supported our Kickstarter, and it's finishing on Wednesday, so it's not too late to participate if you wish to.
Yeah, and then next year we have a show booked in at Le Petit Ours on March 20. And
Wow,
we're trying to make a tour out of that. We're negotiating tour dates in Toronto, Ottawa, anywhere really that will have us. And then in May, we are scheduled to play Pouza Fest. So we're just trying to tour,
Yeah.
book us.
Okay, very exciting. I mean, that's great you've got stuff so far in the future, and that's also really exciting to hear about Pouza Fest.
Yeah.
I personally love that festival.
Oh,
So
sweet.
that's very exciting. And that's, great to get that advertisement even right now, right? Yeah, for anybody listening, if you're a regular Pouza Fest goer, be sure to come to the show.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the show coming next week.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's going to be the album release. So right now we've got one single that's out, I'm Too Broke to Buy a New Bass Amp. We have a music video out for that one as well. And after our show, I mean, our album's going to be released. We've got CDs, cassettes. It's going to be on Bandcamp and streaming almost everywhere.
Yeah.
And
We made zines,
yeah,
cool zines that we designed ourselves, telling the story of the band and the
yeah.
songs and how we recorded the album.
That was a really fun experience.
Yeah.
I've never done a zine before. And it was great. Joe's a really good designer as well.
I just learned.
With the help of his wife, Amanda.
Yeah, with the help of Amanda.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the big things that are coming up.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's so exciting. I'd love to, like, in the last few minutes we have, talk about the zines a bit more. I always love to hear about it when there's, like, a band that's kind of incorporating another artistic aspect into their project, right? And that's great to hear that you have this, the show and your music kind of tied in with this zine. What was kind of the idea or the reason that, you decided to go ahead and create that?
I really, really love a musician called Jeff Rosenstock, and he used to play in a band called Bomb the Music Industry. And one day Jeff gave me one of his records, and that came with a little booklet. And in that booklet, different members of Bomb the Music Industry would, either teach you how to fix your bike or teach you how to do home recording or, give you tips if you're like the one girl in the tour, like how to find some privacy, some space, stuff like that. And I just thought it was really cool to get a little bit more in-depth information. And it's just, like anything that helps connect a little bit deeper with the people making the music, I think is awesome.
And we wanted to talk as well on this zine about like some background stories of our songs, like I'm Too Broke to Buy a New Bass Amp, and like a few different songs you get to kind of know the story. And we kind of mapped out like how we recorded the album. So actually last year we recorded this album in like a week. We did like a recording marathon, and we were just giving details about what was going on during that week, how we finished everything so fast, and recording tips and tricks. So yeah, it's all in there. It's all in the zine.
If you're trying to record your own project at home, hit us up. Hit me up.
Yeah,
I'll help you.
We have great tricks.
All right, so do you guys record and produce all of your own music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
We have somebody who makes the album, Rennie Wilson. He's a really, he's a mixing engineer that's really involved in the community.
Really talented.
Yeah, and he's mixed a lot of stuff from our friends as well. And it was a cool experience because we got to like sit in fully with him while he was mixing. Like he was at the board and we would be in the room with him telling him in real time what we wanted to do, which was a completely different experience from what I had done before, which was usually just like you send an email after you heard the song and then they kind of go and adjust it. But this time it was like a very,
Rennie tailored it to our tastes,
Yeah.
song by song, piece by piece. Thank you.
And he's a great guy. He's hilarious. So it's just lovely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. I mean, it sounds like you've had a wonderful experience being able to make and, get all your music made. And that's so exciting that it is coming out now. Very quickly, and this is kind of the very last thing, what is one thing you're hoping to kind of accomplish in the future with your band? Obviously, you did mention a tour kind of around the area, but are there any other, bigger dreams and ambitions you have that you would like to accomplish in more of a longer term outlook? We want to play forever together.
Yeah,
as long as,
I agree.
as far as I'm concerned, I want to keep making albums with you for as long as we can, as long as we want to. And we both have very creative visions in terms of touring, but also a big thing that I'm passionate about is, well, Joe as well, is music videos. There's so many great ideas that I want to accomplish and themes that I want to hit in music videos, because I think music videos are awesome. It lets people who are maybe a bit more visual connect with the song in a different way. But with this project, I think what we really want to do for people who listen to us is like a positive feeling. We want people to be happy when they listen to our music, and kind of like be
through lyrics and through music, kind of be that dissenting voice, or like that message that helps you get out of a bad funk or a bad situation in life, and just kind of feel more connected to other people and more understood. But ultimately for me, I would like to get to a point where we're popular enough that we can help other people too with our music, by either by playing benefit shows or helping other fellow artists get recognition. That would be ideal for me, so that we can afford to help the causes we believe in and make a change. Like, because songs are nice, they change people's hearts, but like real political change comes from actions, and I'm really interested in doing that.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's wonderful to hear from both of you. I guess I should mention that this is all being filmed right now. Do you have any music videos so far?
Yeah, we actually made the music video for I'm Too Broke to Buy a New Bass Amp ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, we filmed it on a really hot day in August, and then a second day after that we added Oscar in there, Skeleton. If you want to know more about this video, you should go watch it.
Oscar the Skeleton.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, where can we find you on social media or on YouTube, other streaming platforms, etc.?
So just look for Kim and Dro on YouTube, Instagram, and Bandcamp. Those are the main social medias that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all just Kim and Dro?
Kim and Dro, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, that is bringing us to the end of our time. Are there any final thoughts you would like to say before we say goodnight?
Switch from Spotify to Bandcamp or other streaming services.
Any other streaming
service.
Just
leave Spotify, please. Let's make it end.
Yeah. And thank you guys for supporting us. If you listen to our music, if you've seen a music video, if you have come to our shows or supported the Kickstarter, we're really grateful for you, because that's what we need. We need people listening to our music and supporting us to keep being Kim and Dro.
We love you.
We love you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It was great to have you. For everybody listening, this is Queercorps on CKUT 90.3 FM and CKUT.ca. Many of you, it seems, have already found this, but if you have not yet, you can always go to ckut.ca/playlists/QC and find this episode, as well as all of my other episodes, available online. The recordings are uploaded automatically afterwards. You can listen to any episode and see the playlists of whatever music was made. You can also find me on Instagram at queercorpsckut, or email me, which is queercorps@ckut.ca. If you are a musician or any other kind of queer artist out there and you would also like to be interviewed, we're here every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And, of course, I will see you again next week. Stay listening to CKUT 90.3 FM.